be a weird, I don't know, this one
A
is
weird
missing
one.
some things out of it. I'm gonna actually just take this one away after we clean it up, but, yeah, so, and you can make those 2 specimen labels right away, that way then, cause it's gonna run quick when we actually go do the DNC park, so.
And then
You
we're
can make
getting
those right away.
actual fluid too, right?
Mhm.
And do we have to keep, we don't have to keep track of like the lubricant, nothing like that, right?
No,
Okay.
cause
Just
we're
the
not
fluids.
actually, using it as irrigation, it's just used for cleanup at the end.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so we don't have to tell any fluids used, okay.
No.
We just have to show our blades and secure them in the box.
Yep, show
before-
the blades, show the Raytech. I know sometimes with these it's a little hard because there's obviously no closure, so it's not like first stitch or deep stitch or anything. So as soon as you realize the surgery is coming to an end, or I've been saying things like, okay, we're finishing up here, or we're almost done, that it should be a cue like, oh, I need to count. So
Oh,
that's
It's
when
gonna
you
be
count.
one count then. And-
Well, it's your
2,
first-
one
yeah.
at the beginning and then one at
Yep.
the end, not
First
an
and then
intro.
at the
Okay.
end. And then make sure you're verbalizing again still to your surgeon.
Sounds correct.
Even if we're sitting there listening, make sure you're still saying it.
And then
Surgeon.
what are the 3 things that we have to ask again? I don't know why I'm forgetting.
It is, oh, you
No, it's okay, go ahead.
know it?
It is, how are we
Sending-
sending, what is it, how are we sending it?
it
if I
and
can
can take it off.
I think last time I said, how do you want it? And I got more points.
It's like McDonald's.
How do you
or
send
Yeah.
it?
Burger King, how you want
are
it.
sending it? I'm like, how
Yeah.
would you like it?
Well, and then I've been saying too, because a lot of times when I'm doing, I'm like, okay, here's your endocervical curettings, and so I'm like saying it, but they're still saying that is what I would ask. Sometimes when they hand in you off specimens, I feel like, especially if there's multiple, I've noticed in any cysto cases or GYN and stuff, there's gonna be multiple, so they're wanting to tell you what it is, but still, if they don't verbalize, because I don't know what Mrs. G and Miss Windsor are doing, if they don't verbalize, make sure you ask, because then you wouldn't want to get those mixed up. Yeah, I've been saying what they are, but
And then in the video, you guys cut up Talfa into 3
Mhm.
squares. Are we doing that too?
I think there's, again, this bucket is not in the bucket, but
Okay, so
it
it'll
will be in
the
there.
base.
Yeah, the 2
Okay,
med
and
cups
then
will be
we
in there,
just
the
cut it into
Telfa.
3.
If for some reason the Telfa's in the cup when you get it, just take the Telfa out. Yeah.
So
And
wait-
then they would hand you, like, they would either put it up and then you would like pretend you're like scraping it off on the Telfa and then you put the Telfa in there, or they might, or if you put the Telfa around it, they might just hand you this whole thing and then say this might be what the forcep is good for, because then you would like pick it off, like say this is our Telfa, and you would pick it off onto the Telfa and then you would put that in your med cup and then label it, and then the next one they hand back to you again would be the same thing.
Okay.
So ideally, so let's say you did use the forceps to
Mhm.
scrape off, would you need to like rinse those off or use a different forceps so you don't like cross-contaminate? You could use the back, okay. But ideally, you wouldn't want to use the same end to do the 2 separate samples, okay.
I mean, I don't know if there's like a written rule against it, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
but it's a good idea just
Good
because they're 2
practice.
different specimens.
Yeah, okay.
The tissue is probably going to be different type of tissue,
Mhm.
but it's just better practice, and that's really kind of for anything. If you have it separate, forcep or something separate, you could use like the tip of the mets. You could use,
Mhm.
you know, whatever you have
You
available.
had a whole
to
bunch
you.
of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got it. I think we're good. So speculum,
Don't forget your
scapular,
timeouts.
sound.
And then
Right.
putting the light handle up is going to be, because we don't have our other extra cords, we just have the light handle going up. It's only going to be our only thing that we
Oh,
need to
okay
do
then.
for
Be in
our
the
procedure. Yes.
basin.
Yep.
And you said we'll get these ready too as well.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Do 2 of them.
After
Two of
you
them?
count.
Okay.
But then when you do count, me and Miss G were actually talking about this. I've never taken mine off the sponge stick to count, but I'm gonna have to check into that because I don't know if.
So you just hold this
book-wise. Yeah, because there would only be 1 sponge on the stick, so you just hold it up 1, 2, and then go through your count. And if there's any off the field, that would be after those counts.
That makes
Mhm.
sense. Because I couldn't see you putting 2 sponges on a single forcep. That would be kind of
Be
strange.
too crazy.
Yeah.
Too big.
So that's kind of how that
Okay.
works. And that's, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything that I've kind of been seeing to let you guys know. Yeah, so we put the legs up and we'll do all that together, and then at the end, after everybody's all done, we'll take the legs down together.
Mhm.
But the preps will be, the circulators will be open gloving and showing how they would do that prep.
And so you said tomorrow there's 3 on one and 2 on the other?
It's not that big of a turnover, and we haven't been running out of time. I
So-
think today was our biggest group, and we still got done right before noon.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it was all the drapes, the lap drapes the last time.
Yeah, and
think
cords,
it's
and
really-
there's just so much more with.
This
the
one
other
seems
stuff.
not simple, but it seems it's just a little bit less steps
Yeah.
compared to.
And then for the grading purposes, I mean, there's some stuff that doesn't apply because there's mayo stand stuff on there, so it's kind of like a freebie 5s.
Mhm.
For
Oh
quite a few
really?
things,
Oh,
too.
you guys are still gonna add those points, or
Yeah,
just take it
because
out?
we can't I mean, if we took them off, they would act like zeros if we just didn't
Oh,
add
okay.
them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
'Cause they would then,
Unless
of
you
be like a
lowered the
zero.
whole entire grade, like you
right,
took
we would have to
listed
lower the whole.
Recalculate
Yeah, right, so,
the points.
yeah.
Oh,
But I've
okay.
heard from a lot of people that they feel a lot better about it, and I think it's probably because there's less cords, there's maybe less things.
It's
Some
just
people are getting
le-
kinda goofed up 'cause
less
there's no mail
steps.
stands, so they're like, okay, wait. They're like, okay, this seems too easy.
It makes
Yeah.
sense because there's no meds this time to
Yeah.
count.
It's
There's
less-
no
Yep.
like there's
And then
so
if for
many
some
less
reason a
shots.
stitch got brought up because you couldn't have bleeder that you couldn't control or something, then at that time the circulator would count it with you. They would add it, and then at the end with your counts, you just have to make sure you counted that
Mhm.
stitch too.
Same with the, what was it, the nitro?
You don't count those.
Silver
Yeah.
nitrate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of hand them as needed, and then they use them and hand them back to you, and you throw them in the trash or off to the side. Yeah.
So the timeout. So when would be an ideal time to do it? Would it be like as you're pulling your table up and the surgeon's sitting there and they're like, okay, timeout.
Yeah. So pull your table up, throw on your light handle, and then time out.
Okay.
Okay. So if you remember your light handle, and then if that can cue you, then light handle timeout would be a
Gotcha.
good time to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.